So as I've shared with you guys, I always try to share with you what's going on in my world and how I'm navigating. I feel like a lot of it could also help you. Recently, I've moved into a new phase of my life where I have started dating and using dating apps, but actually seriously using them to meet someone. And in the past, I've hopped on them a little bit and hopped out. I just would go in, go on a few dates and get back out of it. I don't know, I couldn't get myself into the whole race of it, I guess. I also shared on another video how I was in a relationship for a while, several years with the same person, and when we broke up, I had a few interactions outside of that, but very few. So I would say I have a low body count. But I also, once we really permanently broke up, I really wanted a physical and emotional and energetic reset on my sexual energy for a year and 2 months now. So let me be clear that you can actively date and not have the feeling that you need to have sex with everyone that you like or have an interest in. Not to say that anyone hasn't tried or that I haven't wanted to, but what I'm really seeking for now, just connection. But it's also been a really weird experience, diving into the dating pool and then really seeking connection with someone else. I think high quality women are like me. I think we do want to be a pleasant surprise when you see us in real life. We don't want to be a disappointment. We don't want to automatically get put in the category of well, she's not what she presented herself to be, but she's cute enough to bang. I don't want to be in that category. I want to be in the category of yes, she's attractive, and when you meet me in real life, I look better than you thought I did, and I'm interesting. I think where the struggle comes in is I'm a very feminine woman, not jaded, and I don't think all men are scum. I actually love men. I work with men primarily for a living. I love them. Because I work with men, how men behave and how they treat women that they actually want to be in a relationship with, and how they actually pursue women that they're just there to hook up with versus ones that they really want to have relationships with. I also know how they behave when they just want to conquer as many women as possible, and so I recognize those stages for sure in men. From a female perspective, I talk to a lot of women, and even though most of the women I know, they actually are, I'm going to say, hardened to dating culture in the fact that they have conditioned themselves to be able to have multiple sexual interactions without trying to allow their emotions to get involved. I can tell you, women are open and admitting this to each other, really hard on us. We are emotional creatures. We're designed that way. That's really, in the end, what men enjoy about the interaction with the women, is that they get to explore their emotional selves, their emotional body. Women are not talking about the fact that when they have these physical connections with men, they still get emotionally attached. Even if they try to block themselves from doing it, they still have some emotion tied to that, and it is so energetically draining. There are tears, a lot of tears that get shed over guys that think that we're crazy or something because we get emotionally connected to you when we have a physical interaction with you. It's not crazy. It's not crazy at all. It's literally how we're wired. I just feel like there's some shame around what is feminine. Our feminine selves and the way of being feminine really is that we can be soft, that we can just be in our bodies and be comfortable in our bodies and be able to openly connect with a man, not feel like we have to guard ourselves from feeling an emotional connection because there's that fear that you're going to hurt us, that you're not actually connecting with us. I think this cycle of pain is what's really gets to a lot of men and gets to a lot of women, because there's this pressure on the female side that we have to, be able to still reproduce. And if we don't want to reproduce anymore, then there's something else that we've got to be able to provide in order to be worthy of being wanted and loved. Men are wanting to present their best selves, but this expectation of outcome, the fear on the female end is like, well, if I open myself up fully, I'm going to get hurt because I don't know how they're connecting with me, Even when it comes to having interactions with men, by the time I get to the point where I'm being physical with them, like, that is my filter, that is my barrier. And I think that that's a normal thing if you're in your feminine, is that I've allowed you to be physical with me. Because there's this hookup culture, there's this disconnect there, because women are allowing themselves to be physical before actually vetting if the person is worthy of being physical. And so then there's people like me that are really in our feminine, and we are like not allowing anyone to be physical with us unless we've seen that they're worthy enough to be physical with. Then the fear comes into like, can I also be emotionally vulnerable with you? And in my feeling, if I've already allowed you to get physically close to me, I want to be emotionally vulnerable with you. But then the other disconnect comes in. These men are used to women handing themselves over physically really quickly. And so they expect a certain level of vulnerability to already be there when it's not. Like, it needs to unfold, and it needs to unfold slowly, and that physical connection needs to feel connected. I've already allowed you to be physically close to me. Now connect with me. Can I trust what you say? Are your words and actions going to match? And it just gets into this like static between the masculine and the feminine that's really difficult for both sides to navigate. I think at the end of the day, women in our feminine, we need to be more careful and selective about who we open our bodies to. Men be more cautious and intentional about having your words and your actions match. Neither one of us can trust the other without those elements lining up. Just feel this like sadness about fear of not being able to fully open up when I've already allowed a physical connection to happen with someone, because we're all so conditioned to not have these things line up the way that they should. Unfortunately, because so many women are in also their masculine energy, like to protect themselves, because of that like physical interaction has been given so freely. Like, it's in that kind of masculine energy to just be able to behave as the same way as the masculine, right? Even physical pleasure, and what really truly brings a woman to physical pleasure is connection and that sensual enjoyment of our bodies, taking pleasure in ravishing and enjoying the beauty of our bodies and the exoticness of our bodies. Men also do this, and that will make me have an orgasm, in that way. we're then taken out of our bodies and then put into our logical minds, and then we're forced to like logically state, do this, 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 and this, and that turns me on. And so it takes that connection element out of it. Even though there's an appreciation for that desire to please us, there is a disconnect as to what that actually does when you ask that question. And our pleasure is us being able to be fully within our bodies and to fully connect. Exploratory element out of it, which is the most beautiful and most fun and most connecting element of it, and deducing it down to a goal with a means to an end. I really want all of us to dive deeper and face the things that scare us, whether it's facing that fear that unfortunately our men have, that they have to perform and they need to be able to satisfy us and all of this, and women having the same feeling that we need to provide an outcome. We can't be emotional, and we can't be fully in ourselves, and we can't express what it is that we really are, because there's all of this static in the way. I think the biggest thing is for men to have more patience, right? To be more patient, to allow the woman to actually unfold and be able to, if we've allowed you to cross that physical boundary and get physically close to us, you also need to be patient enough to allow us to just unfold and connect with you emotionally as well. We've allowed you into our most sacred element, and we want to connect with you deeper, and we want to open ourselves up to you. We've started to open ourselves up to you, and to be more patient. For the women with the men, appreciate the work that they've done on themselves to try and finally get in connection with you, and to really appreciate that element of themselves, and that there's also a struggle on their end to really be able to open up emotionally as well, for that connection to happen. Let me know what you think. Has any of this resonated with you? What is your experience out there? I just feel like I'm kind of in the wild, wild west now, and there certainly is a fear. Can you find someone? Can you really connect with someone? And the people that you're connecting with, like, is it safe to be open and vulnerable with them? I don't know, and are people patient enough to really allow love to blossom and grow? Yeah, I just want to hear what your experiences are. This is what I've been experiencing so far.